Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 7, Day 24. We've got 2 matches left for you guys, but I'll tell you what, they are big ones. And this one coming up is about as big as they get. I love to hype stuff up, but this is a match that really needs no additional hyping. We have Kaipi, aka Rattlesnake International, facing off against Navi. And this is a big one for a couple reasons. Now, it's important to note that Kaipi are very high in the brackets right now. They are 8-1, so they are most likely going to be making it on to that top 8 next round of Starladder Season 7. And Navi, right now they're 6-3, so this is one of those matches where Navi really needs this, and if they can take out Kaipi, that would be absolutely huge. This is one of these matches with 2 very high-profile teams, so there's more than just statistics on the line. Of course, pride always goes into it because these players know each other quite well. They've played against each other many a time, and I don't think we have any stand-ins here, so this is going to be an even more exciting matchup. So thank you for joining us here on Dota Radio, guys. I'm Zyori. Joining me once again is Hippie, and we're ready to get started. Pal, what are your thoughts here?
I don't think I can say much more than you've already said about the match itself. It's pretty hardcore, and just, you know, the slight changes. You got Kaipi is now officially Rattlesnake International. They're going to be going to China. Aoi 2000 was finally released from his contract with Team Dignitas after a settlement, so he's now got the tags up, and they are ready to play, man.
Oh yeah, indeed they are. So let's go ahead and get into this draft as it is well underway. These teams wasting absolutely no time. Rattlesnake International going to be on our dire side, and they will take out the Lifestealer and Naga Siren with their first bans. Navi going to ban out the classic Bat Rider and Wisp combos. So that will open up for a first pick Visage. Darkseer and Bane going to be grabbed by Rattlesnake International. And Navi going to go ahead and grab the Anti-Mage with their second pick. Very interesting choice. Not too frequently we see those hard carries picked up that early on. An interesting choice from Navi. And did I screw up that pick order? Did they pick an Anti-Mage into a Bane? Is that what happened?
No. The Anti-Mage was picked before the Bane.
So it was Darkseer first pick, Visage, Anti-Mage, then the Bane. All right, my mistake. Sorry, I've already messed it up. All right, no surprise to see the Bane there grabbed after the Anti-Mage. But still interesting to see Anti-Mage in that first picking group. Not too often we see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see any sort of hard carry in that first picking group because, I mean, except for someone like Lifestealer, who's really versatile, or maybe Alchemist, who's just really high profile and can get picked. Although we haven't seen an Alchemist, you know, picked or banned for a while now, so not can't really comment too much on that. But it is definitely rare because of the fact that if you know who you have to deal with, you know how you have to build your lineup. I mean, it's not like, you know, a 4th pick Anti-Mage where most of the lineup is already set. You're giving Rattlesnake.Int a whole lot of space to try and, you know, drafting time to try to figure out how do we want to deal with this Anti-Mage. Do we want to go aggressive? Do we want to try to out-carry him? There's no trap here. It's basically just Navi saying, we know we want to run the Anti-Mage, but then, so Rattlesnake could say, okay, let's pick a lot of disables and silences and stuff, and maybe we can handle him.
Yeah, and I think some of that pick may have been influenced by the fact that Naga Siren was in that first banning cluster from Rattlesnake International. We saw a match earlier today where an Anti-Mage was picked into a Crystal Maiden Naga Siren duo, and unfortunately there's a lot of anti-blink right there between the Ensnare and the Frostbite alone. That's enough to shut down an Anti-Mage pretty damn well. So with Naga already off the pool, that does limit a little bit of the countering that they can do against the Anti-Mage here. The next round of bans are going to be complete. We will see Rattlesnake, aka Kaipi. I'll probably just use those names internationally. They're still Kaipi in my heart. So try and get used to saying Rattlesnake. They're going to take Furion and Chen out of the pool here, and Navi going to take out the Enchantress as well as the Enigma. Interesting choice to ban out that Enigma, something else that we haven't been seeing too much recently in the past few days of casting at least. So the next pick's going to come out. Navi going to be able to third pick Nyx Assassin, and Rattlesnake just going to go ahead and grab that Troll Warlord to go with their Bane and Darkseer.
Well, you don't want to give away the Enigma with the Darkseer, especially not when you have a hero who's relying on mobility like the Anti-Mage. Yeah. So, I mean, that was the big one. I think you can get away with having an Enigma against an Anti-Mage. It's just fine, but not when there's also a Darkseer. If you're picking a mobility-reliant carry like Anti-Mage or Weaver, and the Darkseer is picked, you can't let them have Enigma, period. It's just such amazing setup.
Yeah, it does set up for some pretty easy ultimates with that vacuum. We've definitely seen that a time or two, so a good thing to point out there indeed. The Troll Warlord going to be making a showing again, and I'm going to guess he's probably going to be mid, but we've seen Troll in 2 roles, really. That primary farmer in a tri-lane, and we've also seen him in the mid. What do you think? Is this going to be Sing Sing's Troll Warlord here?
I don't know. I mean, I just don't think there's enough set here. I like Troll as kind of a farming carry, because basically when you hit that mid-game stride where the Because you hit some, ooh, Spirit Breaker with Troll. That is nasty right there with the ultimate.
Oh, gosh.
But
I don't know if we've really seen that, but you're right. That synergy is amazing. The Battle Trance with the chance to proc all those... Oh, God. Whew, Greater Bash
Greater
coming
Bash
out.
being one of the few things in the game without an internal cooldown.
Wow.
So you can theoretically permabash with just serious business attack speed.
Wow.
So you can go a kind of a risky build if you get a farming Spirit Breaker. I'm wondering if they want to farm this Spirit Breaker along with that Troll. But, a support Spirit Breaker, a 4-position Spirit Breaker is a little more common.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And we didn't mention here, Navi going to 4th pick the Bounty Hunter to go with their Nyx, Anti-Mage, and Visage. Always a fan of seeing a Bounty Hunter mixed with any kind of hard carry. We've seen time and time again, that track just changes the state of the game. It allows them to take even exchanges and come out ahead, or even take deficit exchanges and still kind of break even in the end, thanks to some of those track kills. But an interesting last ban from Navi. It's going to be a 5th ban on Outworld Devourer. And again, it's not so often we see him make it that far into the draft without getting picked out. Final ban from Rattlesnake will be on the Puck. So those mid-heroes getting taken off the pool here as we move into our final picks. Navi going to have, I usually say the luxury of the last pick. They're going to have first pick for that final hero, and Rattlesnake going to have that luxury of the final pick to try and perhaps counter the mid, depending on what they want to do with that Troll.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that OD made it through that far as well, but at the same time, if you saw Rattlesnake pick OD as their 4th pick instead of the Spirit Breaker, and they wanted to, it's like, okay, we're gonna put him mid, we're gonna deal with that, and they, set the Troll as a farming carry, then they can only ban out one good counter because they only have one ban left. So Razor, Lone Druid, Kunkka, whichever one you want to get rid of, Navi gonna go the Viper route this time.
Now, this is interesting. I think Menace is the team that we've seen do this Viper, that we sort of, at least I said last time, I don't want to throw you under the bus here, sort of their signature thing a little bit. They were the team that really started using Viper in Starladder Season 7, and to varying success. Sometimes it worked out great, other times it backfired. The thing that we always come back to with Viper, he's great in a 1v1, but he's so easy to lock down. All it takes is a roam from one of those aggressive supports, a Naga, a Crystal Maiden, anyone with the disable, even a Rubik, and he's pretty susceptible to ganks, and if he gets shut down early on, it can be hard for him to make a recovery. But conversely, we've seen him just get out of control and kind of take over games. So an interesting last pick. He'll no doubt be going mid, and I'm going to be curious to see what Rattlesnake does in reaction here. They do have 40 seconds of reserve time, so they'll have a couple moments here to deliberate about how they want to handle the Viper.
Viper is a tough hero to... like you said, he's a tough hero to deal with in the 1v1, period, no matter who you are. The heroes that are traditionally really good in 1v1 matchups still have a problem with him just because of the amount of damage that comes out of the poison attack. Just even from level 1, it's a huge amount of harass, especially the... Ooh, I like that last pick.
All right.
I really do.
So they're going to grab a Luna for their final pick, and again, this makes me wonder exactly how they're going to lane it. And okay, Sing Sing going to grab the Troll, so it will be Troll in the mid lane here. Nice. So it will be Luna in that tri lane. Again, you mentioned kind of position 4 Spirit Breaker, and then for position 5 Bane, going to tri lane with the Luna, and then Darkseer going to be doing the standard off lane jungle stuff, and I like it. We've talked about Luna a fair amount, and I think she's still a little bit of an underrated carry. We see her from time to time, but she can get out of control. Don't underestimate that pushing power that can come out from the Moonglaive, and also her ability to just move through that mid-game with the damage from the Lucent Beams, the Eclipse. I love it. I always like seeing Luna play. I always am just baffled at how fast she is, too. She's so... What does she start at, like 330 movement speed? Is that right?
Yes, 330. Fastest in the game. And, trivia, only hero in the game whose base movement speed is faster than creeps.
Huh. Jeez.
Creeps are base 325.
I knew it was a lot, but I didn't know it was that crazy. Like, wow. So, I don't know. I like the fast heroes. Lich is pretty fast, too. That's one of the reasons why I like messing around on Lich. But interesting rosters from both sides. So my question now is Troll Warlord versus Viper. We'll have plenty of time to talk about it once we get into the actual creep laning phase of this match. But initial thoughts, what are you thinking? Who's going to have the upper hand here?
I think Rattlesnake is going to have the upper hand if they're allowed to farm without getting punished a lot, which I think is what they're relying on because there's an anti-mage there. But the rest of Navi's lineup is very, very aggressive. Nyx, Viper, Visage, Bounty Hunter. Those are some seriously dangerous mid-game heroes. But if Rattlesnake can just get a little bit of farm on the Luna, on the Troll, get them a little bit durable, Luna Aura with Troll Ultimate. Everyone's swinging 38 points harder, and everyone's swinging stupidly fast because of Battle Trance. That's a lot of damage from your whole team. Yeah. Your whole team is suddenly swinging for crap loads, and the Spirit Breaker bashes on top of that. You have the positioning aid from the Darkseer. The problem they're going to have, mostly, is that if the Bane can't get a good lockdown on someone to start out the fight, they're relying totally on the Spirit Breaker for a lot of their lockdown, and that could be a problem against a kiting lineup like Navi is going to end up with, because Viper will kite you like nobody's business. You have the slow coming out from Janata, you have the amazing slow from Visage, and then you have the great stun from Nyx Assassin. There's so many ways to keep that Spirit Breaker from getting on top of someone.
And Puppey going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to get charged by Aoi 2000. The Ion Shell going to put on top of him. Beautiful path blocking coming out from Aoi 2000 to start this off. He's going to chase Puppey down. Oh no, hoping to try and make something happen, but Puppey going to be forced to skill Spike Carapace, and he is going to be able to proc it on top of an auto attack there. Very nicely done. He will be able to survive, but playing with fire to start things off here. That Spirit Breaker getting nice and aggressive. So, all right, let's go ahead and introduce our rosters here. On our Radiant side, we are, of course, going to have Navi, our TI1 champions. Puppey going to be down in the bottom lane here, going to be playing on the Nyx Assassin. He is going to be supporting the Anti-Mage, going to be played by Havost, also heading down to this bottom lane here. Looks like Navi going to be running a 2-1-2. Dendi going to be in the mid lane, going to be playing on the Viper here. And then up in the top, that will be Funnick on the Bounty Hunter and Kuroki supporting him on the Visage. And we'll see what happens here. Visage very well may rotate to this bottom lane, as it is going to be a tri-lane coming out from Rattlesnake. Let's go ahead and introduce them as well. Pylai Dai going to be playing on the Bane. We're going to see Bone 7 on the Darkseer and Aoi 2000 on that Spirit Breaker. We see all three of them cutting the lane here, putting a lot of pressure on this tower, really taking advantage of their 3 versus 2 numbers down here in the bottom lane. In the mid, of course, Sing Sing going to be the one playing the Troll Warlord, going up against Dendi. And last but most definitely not least, up in the top lane, here's going to be Light of Heaven playing on Luna. And got a silly name. I don't know what that name is. Asaka Tega. But alas.
It's an anime thing. You know Eternal Envy. He always does that stuff.
Yeah, you know, Eternal Envy. So there you have it. So down at the bottom, like 2-1-2 coming out from Navi. I think that's the most interesting facet here, aside from Rattlesnake cutting this lane down in the bottom. They're just shoving creeps into the tower. Havost able to get a couple of last hits here. He is 4-1, but down in the bottom, this Darkseer seems to be the primary farmer, as he is 9-0. So the lane's actually not going to go quite the way we thought they would, as Luna will be solo in the short lane, and it will be a tri-lane down here with the Darkseer.
Yeah, I wonder if they're actually going to... It looks like they're rotating the Spirit Breaker. Pylai Dai has been doing a whole lot of enfeebling on that Anti-Mage, which is making it pretty much impossible. As long as the creeps are under tower, if Anti-Mage is enfeebled, he's going to get practically 0 last hits. You actually saw Havost skilled Mana Break at level 1 to help him last hit ranged creeps. Like that was his first skill, because he's swinging for 30 damage, you know? And so when creeps are under tower, because they're cutting so hard, there's no way for him to contest those last hits against tower damage unless he has the Mana Break, and even then, that's only on the ranged creeps. It's been a huge deal so far.
Interesting. A strategy that we haven't really seen too much, but you're right. Going up against the tower, not going to be able to do it. Now up in the top lane, we saw Aoi 2000 trying to keep that double damage rune safe. It's going to backfire, though. Funnick on the Bounty Hunter going to come in. He's going to pick it up, and luckily it is the Spirit Breaker. He's going to be able to charge away. Very, very low on hit points here. My health bars have disappeared. I don't know how much he has, but it's not much. And he is going to be able to eat a tango and use a healing sol. But now in the mid lane, Sing Sing going to find himself in a bit of a sticky wicket here. Funnick with the double damage on that Bounty Hunter going to be able to initiate. He's going to take Sing Sing down to about half health. Unfortunately, Dendi on the Viper going to be reasonably low as well, so he was a little bit hesitant to follow up, and the Troll Warlord will survive. So still no kills on the board here at the 3-minute mark. All that happening, though, did set up an opportunity for Luna in the top lane. Eternal Envy here going to be able to start pressuring this tier 1 tower very early on. Navi actually going to be forced to use this glyph nice and early as well. Also following up on the Luna, she is 14-2 to start things off, so that is definitely great news for Kaipi, aka Team Rattlesnake, here on our Dire side, as of course Luna being their hard carry, going to be off to a nice farming start here, and actually going to be able to harass Funnick pretty hard. You're going to be able to throw a Lucent Beam, and here only level 2 on that beam, but still doing a sizable amount of damage to that Bounty Hunter. So good to see the offlane Bounty Hunter not doing too well to start things off. It's certainly from the perspective of Rattlesnake, but he is 9-2 to start things off, is level 3, so not getting completely boxed out of that lane. Looks like the 2-1-2 of Navi is going to dissipate, as they will rotate down to the bottom. We'll see Funnick maintain his presence up in the top, and it is now going to be Havost, Puppey, and Kuroki now going to come down to join them to make it a try-on-try to help out this Havost a little bit. Anti-Mage is 14-2, so he is farming okay, but not as well as he could be if this enfeeble harass wasn't coming his way.
Yeah, now that Pylai Dai's out of mana, though, he's been doing a whole lot better. And because he has, of course, cover from Puppey and Kuroki, the lane can't get cut anymore, so he's not having to contest tower nearly as much. So it's been a big, big significant difference. I mean, you saw at the start, he was like Ooh, I missed that completely.
A lot of action happening in the mid lane here. Aoi 2000 now going to fall. Bounty Hunter going to be able to grab a counter kill as he is haste ruined. Oh, that was so close. Funnick was one hit from death right there, but he is going to survive with about 36 hit points to spare. So a long range charge from the Spirit Breaker there. They do harass that low HP Dendi, and they do grab the first blood. I believe first blood came out for Kaipi. Indeed, Troll Warlord grabbed that extra bit of bonus gold, and then Bounty Hunter was able to grab a counter kill. So we're going to see the Spirit Breaker charging the bottom lane again. He does have that charge on Puppy, who is on the out of mana Nyx Assassin right now. He is going to get intercepted by Kuroki on the Visage, and that will stop the charge. So just trying to get back to the lane a little bit more quickly, and now we'll see Aoi 2000 here on the Spirit Breaker hold this bottom lane as Pylai dies, you mentioned, completely out of mana, out of regen as well. He's going to have to head back to the base, and Bone 7 actually just going to run back as well. Going to fill up that bottle, has the Soul Ring recipe, now a Stout Shield as well as that Sobi Mask. So they're going to head back down to the lane and continue the action. Luna's still getting the better farm here, 28-12 versus the 23-5 Anti-Mage. So Viper doing fine in the mid lane, 22-10 versus the 17-4 Troll Warlord. But of course, Sing Sing getting that bit of bonus gold, helping out quite a bit. Another charge going to come Dendi's way here. They do have a ward down at the bottom rune, so he should be aware that something's happening. Aoi 2000 also going to have an Ion Shell on him, but he's going to be in trouble here. Puppy going to port in. Aoi going to try and port out. Spirit Breaker, he may have set his own grave. Down he goes. Nyx Assassin going to be able to grab that kill, and now Navi going to pull ahead 2-1 here at the 6-minute mark. Puppy coming in to grab that kill. So nice bit of counteraction. Beautiful port from Puppy. Well timed. And Aoi 2000, he tried to port it out a little too preemptively there. I mean, you know Nyx is going to be there. You know he's got an Impale. Probably should have tried to keep running before burning that TP scroll. But alas, he is going to get taken out. And now Sing Sing almost in a little bit of trouble there. Funnick is going to come in. Another double damage rune on that Bounty Hunter that he picked up at the 6-minute mark. But not going to be able to secure the kill. So there you go. You can see Navi really trying to support Dendi here in the mid lane. You can tell Rattlesnake trying to pick on him a bit, so it's good to see the rotations coming. It is a little bit scary, though. Bounty Hunter keeps rotating out of that top lane. And Eternal Envy, man, he's in free farm heaven up here. 37-13 as, Visage getting taken out in the bottom lane. Sorry, I did miss that one. It looks like they dove the tower, the Ion Shell on top of the Spirit Breaker. A bit too much for the support Visage to handle. And now Havos going to be left all alone down here. But, the support coming in. Puppy going to come down. Looks like the Bounty Hunter going to rotate his way down as well. The Visage going to respawn. He's going to port down. This action going to start to heat up. Oh, the Impale not going to connect with the Bane. Funnick with that double damage rune still on, almost having an opportunity, but oh no, the Spirit Breaker may get caught here. He's going to be the one straggler. They're going to try to engage on him. The support's going to be here though. Luna going to port down, going to get the Surge on, is level 7, looking for an opportunity to use the Eclipse. Not going to find it though, as Navi will retreat back to their tier 1 tower. So that is going to make it 2-2 here at the 7-minute mark. Lots of action happening to start things off.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly... You can tell, just anytime a team picks a Spirit Breaker, you know that they want to move a lot in the early game. So you knew that this was going to come out. But that that exchange in the mid lane, where, well, not exchange, but that death in the mid lane from Aoi, where he just charged Dendi and then immediately got picked off, shows you the power of good warding against a Spirit Breaker. If you know he's charging you, because he doesn't know whether you know. If you just play like you have no idea, and then you get a TP rotation from someone like Nyx Assassin, I mean, you can tell Sing Sing didn't go in to help him right there because he was like, oh crap, if I go in there, I'm going to die too. Yep. And basically Navi just perfect bait by knowing that he was coming, but knowing that he can't tell that they have that knowledge. So it's a big, big deal.
Yep, that's exactly right, and that's exactly what Sing Sing did right there. You saw him kind of back up, and then he pressed forward. I thought to myself, he should know that he's coming. They had a ward down at the bottom rune, and it was setting the trap. Nyx came in, and they were able to turn it around. So you're exactly right. That is a little bit of a mind game you can play against the Spirit Breaker. But Dendi in the mid lane, he's going to not see Eternal Envy roaming in here, and this should be a pretty easy kill. The Lucent Beam doing a lot of damage. One more auto attack. Down he goes. That speedy Luna now with the Tranquil Boots, as well as a Haste Rune, going to be able to chase him down and grab that last hit. So that's now going to be 3-2 here at the 8.5-minute mark, and it's just amazing to see in this match both sides supporting their mids so hard. Most of the kills have featured around these mid heroes, whether it be Dendi, whether it be Sing Sing. Both sides trying to shut down the mid and subsequently support their own mid heroes. So very nicely done. And Rattlesnake can be able to pull ahead a little bit here. Let's take a look at the graphs and see how things are faring. Gold graph going to go ahead of Rattlesnake here by about 1,500 gold, somewhere about 1,200 experience. So they are having a much better time. I think it's safe to say some of that coming from the Bounty Hunter. Funnick has been roaming quite a bit. He's only level 5 against that now level 8 Luna, who's also going to start to roam now. And up in the top lane, Aoi 2000 is going to be up there to try to get a little bit of solo XP. The Spirit Breaker only level 5, absolutely needs level 6. Nether Strike is a huge ultimate, but having that top lane kind of open on the Radiant side of things, well, from the Dire perspective, I guess, is going to give them a little bit of a lane advantage here to start things off. But we're going to see some action down here in the bottom lane. Smoke going to be used by the Bane as well as the Luna. Bane not going to be level 6 yet. They are going to bump into Kuroki on that Visage, and he is going to fall. Darkseer going to be able to grab that last hit as he does rotate in from the lane. And I love this from Eternal Envy. He soaked up all that free farm in the top lane, and instead of farming, he said, hey, I'm Luna. I have some mid-game presence, some early-game presence as well, and he's going to move around, and he's going to try to make something happen, of course, with the Eclipse. There's a lot of potential, and Havo's going to take a lot of damage here. The Eclipse is going to come out. It will be enough to finish off the Nyx. Not going to be able to grab the AM as he does blink back behind the trees, behind that Tier 1 tower there. Funnick going to come down, but the level 6 Bounty Hunter not going to be able to do much against the forces of Rattlesnake at the moment. Nicely done from Eternal Envy. This roaming really paying off here, as he's now going to be 2-0-1, making up for that lost farm not being up in that top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And against an anti-mage, I mean, a Luna versus an anti-mage, don't get me wrong, Luna can carry reasonably hard. It looks like we might have a miniature dive coming in right here.
Yep, they want to come in. They're going to try and finish off Havos. He's going to get scouted. They didn't see where he blinked, though. That's so tricky. You can see that he blinks, but you don't know where. The charge going to be used on Funnick. That will reveal him, and they're not going to be able to finish him off, though. Sing Sing desperately trying to finish him off, but not going to have the damage to make it happen. Anti-mage still microing about in the trees here. He doesn't have a port. He's just trying to stay safe and perhaps hop in to use that mana void, perhaps if something goes down. But the first tower of the match is going to fall in favor of Rattlesnake. During that chaotic engage there, they did manage to take out that Tier 1 tower, so alas, not able to grab too many kills. It is going to be 5-2 here at the 11-minute mark, and they do grab that first tower kill, furthering their command of that match. Now about a 4,000 gold lead, 3,000 experience lead. Things are just multiplying in favor of Rattlesnake, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Continue what you're saying about a Luna versus anti-mage here.
I had that problem too plenty of times when I switched back from on to Dota, so don't worry about it. But just in general, I mean, anytime you're against an anti-mage, Luna can carry really, really hard, but she certainly can't carry as hard as an anti-mage can. Like, just absolutely not. So the fact that she's, you know, Eternal Envy is being smart. He says, okay, I got free farm. I have the Eclipse. Every time it's off cooldown, we can basically take a free fight. So they, you know, they get a serious engagement. They know Navi is happy to rotate to fight for the anti-mage and try to defend his level of farm. So he knows that also they can bait them into an engagement and then just pop the Eclipse and basically win it for free, because Navi doesn't have anything on the level of Eclipse in the mid-game. They don't really have anything on the level of Eclipse, period. They're mostly, in fact, pretty much entirely single target here. They only have a couple of AoE stuns and maybe the Mana Void in late game once people start getting big Mana pulls for Havos to cleave away. And so using this to try and maintain an advantage for Luna, knock down the anti-mage, make sure he doesn't get a particularly quick Battle Fury, doesn't just kind of zoom out of control, is exactly what Rattlesnake needs to be doing, and I really, really approve of the way they're playing this.
Yep, and I think it's also, to go on with what you're saying, so we're going to hold that thought for a second. Is Puppey going to be in trouble in the top lane? Only level 5 Nyx Assassin is going to be able to survive for now, but a charge is coming his way. Sing Sing going to continue to chase him down here, and I think he is definitely going to fall. Yep, down he goes. Spirit Breaker going to be able to grab that last hit, so that is now going to make it 6-2 here at the 12.5-minute mark in favor of Team Rattlesnake. And I think to complement what you were saying before, though, also with the anti-mage in the bottom lane, having a Viper in the mid, he's not a very mobile mid hero. You know, if you had someone like a Puck, perhaps it'd be a little bit harder to rotate down bottom because Puck's going to come down and soak up that team fight. But knowing that there's a Viper mid, he's going to be much more focused on picking up that early farm, getting those early core items. He's just not nearly as mobile. It's so much more of a gamble for Viper to venture down there into the jungle without clear vision, because if he gets caught out and he dies, then Navi going to have a big problem. Not only is the anti-mage not farming as well as he would like, but now also your other hard carry Viper isn't farming as well. So I think that further adds to the smart choice of Rattlesnake here to move that Luna around and you know, try and pick on that kind of advantage they have right now, where, like you said, there's nothing comparable to the Eclipse on Navi, and they're trying to capitalize on that, as they well should be. So anti-mage going to be working towards his Battle Fury. He's getting close. He does have the Broadsword, Claymore, Ring of Health, and now going to need, of course, the Void Stone there. So we're at about the 13.5-minute mark. That's really not that quick of a Battle Fury. It's not bad, but they have definitely succeeded in slowing down his farm, I think it's safe to say.
Definitely, and he's not going to have it for another couple minutes, is he? I don't think he has the Void Stone yet.
Oh, no, he's like 900
so,
off or so.
So he's going to 15, 16 minutes. I mean, that's... 15 minutes is, you know, when you want it in like a public game. You want it by like 12 or 13 in a real competitive match. If you can get it faster, awesome. If you're delayed by a couple minutes, I mean, it's not great, but it's not game shattering. But, you know, the fact that they've managed to slow this down, and that the Luna is, you know, nice, and she's not really ahead, but she's keeping up pretty nicely with an anti-mage, somebody who you really want to have that free farm on, and she's ahead in the levels, which is a pretty big deal. 9 to his 8, and when she hits that 11 and gets her hands on that level 2 Eclipse, they can probably just probably just going to want to form up then. Maybe she can hit a timing and get... Oh, she might be in trouble right now, though.
Uh-oh. She's going to burn a dust, though. That will be enough to finish off the Bounty Hunter as Aoi 2000 comes in. Going to be able to use that Nether Strike. Beautifully supported right there. It seems they did set the trap. They knew it was coming. I was just about to comment, wow, Eternal Envy really far forward right here, and I believe that was intentional. They know there's 2 Invis heroes. They know Nyx is level 6. So they're going to set that trap, and alas, Navi will step their foot right into it here. That's going to make it now 7-2 as we're about to approach the 15-minute mark. Tower count now 2-0 as well in favor of Rattlesnake, as they have taken out the tier 1 in the top as well as the bottom. So they are going to rotate to the mid here. Sing Sing and Pylai Dai going to be smoked up between the tier 1 and the tier 2 in the mid lanes. It looks like they may try and make something happen on someone who comes by here.
Yeah, but it looks like Navi, maybe they got kind of a wind of it. Maybe they know what's going on. Havos farming the top lane, but not pushing out particularly far. Nice that the creeps are pushed so far back that he would have some vision if Pylai was to try and sneak up there and get a quick nightmare on him. So It doesn't look like anyone's going to get caught right here. Navi playing very, very safe. They understand that not only are there good disables, but that they can get caught from pretty much anywhere thanks to not only the Spirit Breaker, but the Darkseer Surge, where someone can basically, you know, obviously come out of the fog with max move speed. He's actually put a 3rd level into it, which is kind of unusual, but Rattlesnake is really doing a lot with the mobility that they get from the Spirit Breaker and the Surge.
That's definitely true. And I wanted to comment on one of the item pickups here from Darkseer. He did go for that Hand of Midas first, a build that we see on occasion, and I really like it here, because generally speaking, you're not going to grab an early Hand of Midas on a Luna, not something we've seen ever. I don't think I've ever seen it, at least so far in Starladder Season 7. So I like that they still grabbed one Hand of Midas to try and combat the farming power of that anti-mage. So as a team, at least they'll have somebody kind of capitalizing on that additional farm. And Darkseer, a great hero for it. We've definitely seen that a few times, and he's going to be able to get a little bit out of control. We're going to be able to complete the mech already. That's a nice early mech, going to be much earlier than Navi's, as they don't have one yet. No one even with those first core pieces, so that's going to be a nice little timing advantage there. And we've seen Darkseer with Hand of Midas. He'll probably be able to grab a Blink for that better initiation power, and eventually we'll be able to get a Sheep Stick, no doubt. A Shiva's, I mean, the options are limitless for what that Darkseer can pick up. It's going to be great for them to have one of those kind of support heroes there, so to speak, kind of position 3, I guess. He falls somewhere in the middle, having all that additional farm to get those great big items and give them some additional crowd control. Troll Warlord now has the Power Treads, going to move into a Helm of the Dominator to go with the Bottle and the Magic Wand, those early core items there. Luna now going to grab her first core item, going to go for the early Drum of Endurance to go with the Powered Treads, Ring of Aquila, and the Wand, as well as Magic Bottle. So she's definitely in great shape here as we're starting to approach that mid-game here at the 17-minute mark. On the Radiant side, really the only sizable pickup is that Battle Fury on Anti-Mage. He did get it right around that 16-minute mark. Oh, Pylai Dai. He's going to get caught. He's going to bump into the Invisible Bounty Hunter, and down he goes. That's going to be a free kill for Navi. Now going to be 7-3. Spirit Breaker was charging on that Nyx Assassin, but going to decide to disengage there. So looks like Navi going to group up. They want to try to make something happen in the top line while they open up a little bit of farming opportunity for Viper in the mid. And I was going to say the only other big items they have are Viper working towards that Oggs. He's got the Blade of Alacrity, Ogre Club, and the Point Booster. So Dendi actually pretty close to grabbing that Ogg Scepter to go with his Boots of Speed and Wraithband. He's also now level 11, which is good news. We've got 4 level 11s in this match, although 3 of them are on the side of Rattlesnake.
Yeah, just talking about the drum from Luna, that was something just before she got ganked I wanted to mention, you know, maybe about when she's hitting level 11, she's going to pick up a drum, and that'll be, you know, the signal for Rattlesnake to do like kind of a mid-game push, good mid-game items, really good mid-game teamfight power, and bam! She hits level 11, she picks up a drum. They have the mech on the Darkseer. He's just hit his level 11, which he didn't put a second point into Wall of Replica. That's really weird, but I guess we're going to just kind of go with it. Oh, Dendi might be in trouble here. Oh, no, they're going to back off.
Yeah. Almost. They had an opportunity. Yeah, it is weird, though. Only 1 point in the Wall of Replica. I don't really have a...
Well, it's the extra point in Surge. Obviously, it delayed the 3rd point in Vacuum. The 3rd point in Vacuum is kind of a big deal because you need that bigger radius to make the wall really effective, and that's generally why you only see 2 points in Surge. You can't really leave it at 1 because it's not all that effective when combined with the cast time and keeping yourself alive, which is kind of what you need in the early game with it. But you really don't want to be delaying that Wall of Replica level 2 any longer than you have to.
Right. And up in the top lane here, we'll see Bounty Hunter get caught off guard. Nicely done by the Bane. Going to initiate with a Fiend's Grip. We saw the Aoi 2000 Spirit Breaker there. Charge his way in. Use that Dust of Appearance. Nether Strike. Wombo combo. Easy kill there on the farming Bounty Hunter, and they've done a great job trying to shut down that Bounty Hunter. He's now 2-2-1, so they haven't let him have free reign of this game. His farm is not that great. He's 30-3, so on the net worth chart, Bounty Hunter is really not that out of control, and by shutting him down like that, they're de-incentivizing him to move around and pick up those track kills. Once Bounty Hunter starts to snowball a little bit, that's when it's just open hunting season. But Bounty Hunter's been kind of shut down throughout this entire game. He's only got Phase Boots, Ring of Basilius, and Orb of Venom. He does have a bottle as well as a GG branch, but his items aren't that strong. He's only level 8, and he doesn't have that same presence he has that he could have in this match, given that he's been shut down. So I love that play right there. Preventing that Bounty Hunter from moving around and picking up those track kills, really helping to shut down the farming tools that Navi has. Right now, Rattlesnake know they have an advantage, 7,500 gold, 5,000 experience or so, and they want to hang on to it. And one sure way to give up that advantage is to let the Bounty Hunter run amok about the map. So I love the way they're handling themselves on that front. And now Rattlesnake just going to move into the Roshan pit here right around the 20-minute mark. It will be Aoi 2000, Sing Sing, and Eternal Envy just taking down Roshan, and he is going to fall pretty quickly here. No intel for Navi. I don't know if they would contest this if they could, but alas, they will not. Completely unchecked Roche kill going to go the way of Rattlesnake. Aegis going to end up in the inventory of Luna as well.
Yeah, I don't think Navi really could have contested that. They don't have the team fight power. The anti-mage isn't farmed enough. A raw Battle Fury means your anti-mage. Obviously, with his Agi treads on, he's got 870 life. He'd probably have, 950, 960 with the strength treads. So he wouldn't really be in a good position to contest. The level 2 Eclipse from Luna would pretty much decimate them if they tried to engage that.
Yeah,
and something we didn't really mention in the drafting phase is just how good, between Luna, Spirit Breaker, and Troll, that's an amazing Roche team for the mid game. Once those heroes just have a little bit of farm, they can knock him down very, very quickly, like we just saw. And just, I really would like to see Rattlesnake, honestly, at this point, group up and just kind of push down and take the rest of the outer towers. I think they have the strength to do it. I think they have the items to do it. Maybe Luna wants to finish a BKB first, just to be really, really safe, so that she can't get chased down by that Viper nearly as easily if they happen to overextend. But aside from that, they're in a beautiful, beautiful position to just take team fights with that Eclipse, with the drum, with the mech. They have so much stuff that Navi doesn't.
I absolutely agree with you. And for a moment there, it looked like they were going to group up in the mid lane. They did have 4 members with them, but alas, they are just going to spread out. Perhaps they're waiting for another core item here on the Luna, because Luna does have 2.7k gold in the bank. I'll be curious to see what Eternal Envy does here for his first kind of big core item. May just go for that BKB to start, but a lot of right-click auto-attack DPS, not a lot of crowd control. I don't know that BKB would be the best choice here, given that there's an anti-mage and a Viper on the opposition here. BKB on the way for Troll, presumably. He's got the Mithril Hammer, so we'll see if that turns into a BKB. I guess it could be an early Desolator, but time will tell. Looks like we are going to see him group up here, though. We're going to see Aoi 2000 initiate here. He's going to charge on Kuroki. Visage going to be in trouble here. Down he goes. That's going to be an easy solo kill for the Spirit Breaker, and now Navi going to have a 5v4 as they try to defend this push in the mid lane. They are going to use the Glyph. The tower's going to fall, not going to get denied. Sing Sing on the Troll Warlord going to be able to grab that last hit, so tower count now 3-0 in favor of Rattlesnake, and they're just going to keep pushing forward here. Again, it is a 5v4, and Navi really not in a great position to defend. We see Havos down in the bottom lane trying to farm. We see Funnick in the top lane trying to farm on that Bounty Hunter. So right now, there are few forces defending this tier 2 in the mid lane. It's just the Viper as well as the Nyx Assassin, but it seems that will be enough to repel the forces of Rattlesnake as they now clear out the Radiant jungle and start to retreat towards friendly territory a little bit here. But we could see things start to heat up. The Visage Familiar is going to fly forward here. A stun going to come out onto the Dark Seer. I thought they were going to try to initiate, but alas, they are not. Now in the top lane, Eternal Envy, he's going to bump into the Bounty Hunter, but actually, I don't know if he knows it. Oh, no, this could burn the Aegis right here. No, he's going to get tracked. Thought Bounty Hunter was going to go for it, and Eclipse is down. Luna did use the Eclipse somewhere there. I'm not sure where it was, but it was used.
Yeah, I didn't actually see what happened with it, but the fact that it is on cooldown, we have to assume they know it was very, very recent, so it's possible that maybe she popped it on the Bounty Hunter and he immediately invised again.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it was.
So because if he had kind of popped out Dungeonata Shuriken, that would have made sense as to about how much life she lost, because that's a lot of, quick damage right there.
Yeah.
And then he took a couple hits from the Eclipse, maybe immediately stealthed up with the Shadow Walk and just burned off the rest of it. So that's a big deal, her Eclipse being down. It means they're not going to want to take a team fight anytime soon.
Yep, I think one of the biggest edges right now for Rattlesnake is the mech difference, and I'm based on my past few days of casting. There's probably a few folks out there that think I'm obsessed with mech. After those Power Rangers games where they didn't get one, then today we saw 2 mechs. I think it just gives such an advantage, especially in that around that 20-minute mark. That's a lot of healing it puts out. And to take a team fight, if your team has a mech and the other doesn't, I think that's a window of opportunity that a lot of teams don't always capitalize on. And I think Rattlesnake could definitely afford to be a little bit more aggressive here, but they're definitely being cautious against a Viper and an Anti-Mage. You don't want to do those failed ganks. Oh no, Puppy going to try to port out. He saw the charge coming, but Ally 2000 going to be all over it. That Battle Trance going to come out, and we talked about that combo. Oh, it's working so well. Ally 2000 just hitting like a truck. Going to be able to just go back in onto Puppy here, and the Nyx Assassin is indeed going to fall. That's going to be another free kill there for Rattlesnake. Now going to be 10-3 at the 24-minute mark. So they're being very cautious not to have fail ganks. You know, certainly don't want to accidentally feed some kills into the Anti-Mage or the Viper when you're trying to be aggressive. And, of course, that's very counterintuitive to what you're trying to do, counterproductive, I should say, to what you're trying to do. Havost is starting to get to that point where Anti-Mage will be a force to be reckoned with. He is now level 15. Of course, he's had that Battle Fury complete for a while. Now just going to go straight into the Yasha. Of course, has Power Treads as well as a Poor Man's Shield. And we'll see where he goes from here. But if he goes straight into Manta, again, that's going to be a time when Anti-Mage will be able to start having a presence in these fights, especially once he hits level 16. That level 3 Mana Void, something to be afraid of. It can do a lot of damage if used on the right target. So I think Rattlesnake are sort of wasting a little bit of a window opportunity here when they could take an advantage before that Viper and Anti-Mage get out of control, because we know the longer this goes on, the more difficult it'll get for Rattlesnake. Of course, they do have a nice lead set up for themselves, still about 8,000 gold, 5,000 experience, but they will eventually get out-carried, as we mentioned earlier on. Anti-Mage and Viper are a scary duo, so Rattlesnake, I don't think it's too bad now. They are farming appropriately and not being hyper aggressive, but it's a slippery slope and they're teetering on the edge. I think they really need to get much more aggressive pretty soon here, especially given they have an Aegis on the Luna.
Well, yeah, and she also just picked up her BKB,
yep,
which so this is some amazing timing for them, and I really think they need to utilize it. They're not gonna totally get out carried because Troll and Luna together, that's a lot of damage. You get the bashes from Troll. They can certainly kind of fight it out in the late game, but just you have to be worried about how fast Anti-Mage just melts everybody if you let him get farmed enough. It looks like. All right, here we go. They're finally grouping up. Looks like they're going to want to take this top tower.
Yeah. So, again, I'm just saying, not that they've waited too long, but they are playing with fire a little bit here. They're going to start to pressure that tier 2, and it looks like they're just going to port mid. They are going to find an engage on Puppy. Puppy going to be the first to fall as they do come in. Luna, did he burn the Eclipse? Nope. Just going to have be able to use the one Lucent Beam. A nice vacuum from Darkseer. Going to pull the Viper back as they micro about the Radiant jungle, getting close to that tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Viper going to be able to survive, and he's all alone right now. Unfortunately for Rattlesnake, they didn't have the opportunity to catch him there, but could have been an easy kill if they were able to engage on him. And uh-oh, the Spirit Breaker going to get caught down here by the bottom tier 2. He's going to fall to the Anti-Mage, so there it is. Havost showing us that he's got the damage output now. Exactly what we were talking about. Level 3 Mana Void. Going to be enough to finish off the Spirit Breaker. Also did finish off that Manta Style. Now Funnick going to try to engage on Sing Sing here, and he may be getting a bit hyper aggressive. Going to try to go in on the Troll. Luna's going to be right there. Going to throw a Lucent Beam, and now Dendi going to come in. This could be a weird team fight if it engages, given that the Bounty Hunter is on the backside. He's going to be able to finish off the Courier. That's what it is. Oh no, nicely played there by the Bounty Hunter. The Dire will lose their Courier. Going to be a nice gold pick-me up there for Navi. And look at that graph between the Courier kill and that solo kill onto the Spirit Breaker. They're slowly climbing their way back in. That gold deficit now only about 5,000. Experience deficit only about 3,000. So Navi, they're still in okay shape. This Anti-Mage getting scary. Net worth almost 15k, and he is number 1 by far. Second to him is only the Darkseer, of course, has that Hand of Midas, and he's at about 10.5k. And now Luna going to be in trouble. Uh-oh, Eternal Envy going to get engaged on. That'll be an easy kill. That's the end of the dominating streak. He's going to fall. That's going to be now 5-11 at the 27.5-minute mark. Navi going to group up about this top tier 2 tower, and they're going to drop it. They very well may keep pushing, given that Luna is dead. Oh, no. Things are starting to look a little bit more rough for Kaipi, a.k.a. Team Rattlesnake. Ugh.
Yeah, and that's pretty much going to give Visage his mech as well. He's only 30 gold off of it now. All he needs is the recipe. The headdress is in his stash. So, God, if they lose this, I'm really going to say they probably could have... It's not like they could have just cleaned up the game immediately, but they could have put so much pressure on when Eternal Envy was just back farming.
Yep.
I really think it was just a waste of time. I mean, just... You never want to give an Anti-Mage this much space. Just look at how fast he farms. That's basically... You know, the reason he carries so hard is partially because of his base attack time, partially because of the mana break being very, very nasty at, you know, getting rid of every spell you can possibly cast, but a huge portion of it is just how quickly he farms and how quickly he clears jungles and just goes back to lanes. And he's now 6,000 gold ahead of the Darkseer, who is the second highest farming hero. 16k to 10k on that net worth chart.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous at 28 minutes.
It really is, and especially it seems so out of character because Rattlesnake seems so adamant about shutting that anti-mage down early on. They kept charging the bottom lane, they kept harassing that lane. That was the first tower they took out, if I'm not mistaken. So they were very adamant about pressuring that lane, making sure anti-mage didn't get the Battle Fury. It was almost like they saw that he picked up the Battle Fury and just said, oh, screw it. All right, we can't shut him down anymore. We might as well just sit back and try and farm. And I think they could have just kept up that pressure and continued to hammer. I mean, even after he gets the Battle Fury, that's still a time where anti-mage is very, very squishy. Yeah, he has some damage output. He's got a little regen, but he's got no survivability, especially given that he went a Yasha straight after that before you get the ultimate orb for the Manta style. That's a huge window of opportunity just to pick on that anti-mage. I mean, you even have options where Spirit Breaker could do a pretty significant amount of his health just between the charge, the Nether Strike, and the Battle Trance combo. So I completely agree with you, man. I think we're on the same page. Rattlesnake definitely wasted a window there where they could have picked on that anti-mage a bit more, and now he's just going to go ahead and right-click that Heart of Tarrasque recipe, and of course he will be farming that tanky item. On the Dire side, more big items coming out. Dark Seer not going to go boots. He's just going to go for a Scythe of Ice instead. So again, that Hand of Midas definitely paying off. That crowd control item going to help tremendously in these upcoming team fights, but still playing with fire just a little bit here. Another big item pickup on the Dire side. Well, Spirit Breaker going to be able to grab his Vlad's Offering, another great mid-game item. BKB going to be complete on the Troll now that he has the Helm of the Dominator as well, but on the Radiant side, there it is. Anti-Mage now going to have that Heart of Tarrasque, so I don't know. It looks like Dendi was gearing up for an Ethereal Blade as well. He's got the Talisman of Evasion as well as the Ghost Scepter, so that could be an interesting item pickup that we don't see all too often.
Well, I think the Ghost Scepter is just so he can orb walk while he's in Ghost Scepter. I'm pretty sure Viper can do that the same as Huskar can.
Oh, okay.
Basically, if you're orb walking, you can still actually get auto attacks off because it's technically a spell cast, not an attack.
Okay. Okay. See, we don't see Viper enough. We really don't. And of the Vipers we've seen, I don't think we've seen any of them do that. They just go for that straight up hard carry, butterfly, MKB kind of a build. So that's a little bit different. All right, showing my noobness again there. I'm glad you're here for that, or else I would have looked like a total jackass. But
I love mechanics, man.
Yeah, I know you're a mechanic machine, dude. You're all over that stuff. But Roshan going to fall for the second time here again, completely uncontested by Navi. Rattlesnake going to be able to melt Roche, so perhaps this is going to be their window of opportunity that we've been talking about. Luna again going to be able to grab the Aegis. Last time they didn't use the Aegis, I believe it despawned. I don't think it was ever actually burned. So we'll see how Rattlesnake handles this here. Of course, Navi grouped up about the top lane. They are going to pressure what is the tier 3. They did take out that tier 2. Again, the total tower count now actually in favor of Navi. It is 4-3. So they do have a 1 tower advantage. Perhaps not for long, though. Rattlesnake are going to group up about the bottom lane and pressure that tier 2. And look at that gold graph, man. That's scary. How far Rattlesnake was ahead, and then all of a sudden, just that exponential growth up to the 0 mark. And now this game's completely even in both gold and experience. And it's definitely going to start to swing in the way of Navi as Anti-Mage continuing to grow that gap on the net worth chart. Now just about at 20k on net worth. And Sing Sing on the Troll Warlord now second on the chart, but he's only at 11.6k. So the gap continues.
Look at the amount of last hits the Anti-Mage has. He has 344 last hits. The second most in the game is the Viper with 169. You don't get anyone from Rattlesnake until the Darkseer at 156. Less than half the amount of farm. And I mean, look, you can kind of make an excuse. I mean, Anti-Mage is obviously going to farm faster than a ton of people, but your Luna has Glaives. You could have maybe in the mid-game taken a quick Ancient stack to try and, accelerate her farm when you were already a little bit ahead. Use that to hit the BKB a little faster. I really, really think that Rattlesnake just didn't make the most of their powerful mid-game opportunities, and now they're falling behind so far just as punishment for it. They still have a chance, don't get me wrong. They have very powerful team fight. The Bane could lock down the Anti-Mage enough for things to happen. The bash lock that can happen from both the Spirit Breaker and the Troll Warlord is very, very significant. But they've basically, at this point, just let Havost back into the game. By not putting pressure on towers, by not putting pressure on lanes, by giving him space to farm. It blows my mind that Navi has a tower advantage.
Eternal Envy going to get initiated on here. He's going to take a lot of damage. Now the Spirit Breaker going to come in. How's this fight going to continue? Sing Sing is invisible right now. That invisibility rune about to stop. The Whirling Axe is going to come out. The Sheep Stick going to be used on Havost. First kill going to come out onto the Visage. A nice wall going to come out. Now Anti-Mage going to fall. This Troll Warlord doing a lot of damage. There you go. Rattlesnake with the initiation they needed right there. The Sheep Stick onto the Anti-Mage proved successful. 2 easy kills for Rattlesnake, and they will force a buyback on the Anti-Mage. So you're right. Maybe we're underestimating the farm of Rattlesnake. I think at this point, though, they had the team fight advantage. Now it's just going to come down to initiation. I don't think they have a clear advantage. If they get the jump on Anti-Mage like that, if they get a successful Sheep Stick, absolutely, they can take a team fight. But It's all about the initiation power. If Nyx as well as Bounty Hunter and the Anti-Mage there were all lined up to finish off Luna right when that fight started, they engaged on her. They didn't have enough to finish her off. But if they had, that team fight could have gone a lot worse in favor of Rattlesnake. And also important to note, Luna now level 6 didn't use the Eclipse right there, so still has it up. So perhaps Rattlesnake could group up and take another team fight here. But I think at this point, it's really going to come down to initiation power. Which team gets the jump on whose hard carries is going to be kind of what it comes down to. And that explains why Rattlesnake was able to take out the Anti-Mage there in that engage.
Well, honestly, I think for Navi, I don't think the hard carries are the ones they really care to jump on. Maybe the Troll, because he can get the Bash Lock going, and getting rid of the Battle Trance is a big deal. But I honestly think the bigger deal for Navi is picking off the Bane and the Darkseer, because we saw not only was the Bane holding him down very nicely, but that Darkseer wall, it's something I've been really kind of discounting for most of this game. I mentioned it very, very early in that he hadn't put enough points into it, but at this point, Darkseer wall, and it looks like he's going to be going for an Aghanims with the point booster, the Anti-Mage illusion alone from that wall is going to be ripping through Navi if they get the disables off. It can be absolutely brutal, and this is why Darkseer is banned so often. I mean, there's a million reasons, but, you know, in the late game, it's all about the wall of replica. Yep. He turns the power of your carry against you completely, and he makes it worse if he has an Aghanims.
Yep, exactly right. We're going to see some initiation here. They're going to catch wind of the Anti-Mage. He's going to use that Manta style very nicely there. And uh-oh, Luna going to use the ulti. Puppey going to be able to walk away. And that would be my fire alarm. All right, Nyx Assassin going to get taken out here. And Kuroki going to be able to survive. So after all that, only one going to go down. Kuroki going to try to port out here. They're going to have the vision. Nope. Lucent Beam not going to be able to come out. So that will be a 1-0 in favor of Rattlesnake. A nice little engage there. They are leading 14-5, but the kill chart is very misleading right now, as it is very even on the charts. So even though it's 14-5 again, that's kind of a relic from the early game where Rattlesnake was really dominating here. And even this Bounty Hunter, they're giving him an opportunity to get back in this game as well. I mentioned how well they were shutting him down. Now Bounty Hunter going to have a Vlad's, Orb of Venom, Drum of Endurance, as well as the Phase Boots. And he's got another 3k gold in the bank, so that Bounty Hunter going to become something that they're going to have to worry about before too long in this match as well. Now they're going to try to engage. They're looking for an opportunity here, maybe able to catch Funnick. He is going to be charged, and if they have the dust, they could potentially finish him off here. Nope. Not going to dust it. They want Dendi. They see the Viper. Luna very low here. Luna going to fall. Of course, does have the Aegis. They're going to pop back up. Dendi going to get hit by the Whirling Axes, and I think this Viper is going to go down as Luna comes back up. Stun coming in. That'll slow down the Troll Warlord. Oh, no! Rattlesnake just going to sacrifice their Troll. Dendi lives. Now they're going to get turned on. Oh, this could be so bad. Luna now going to get dropped like she's hot. Down she goes as Visage grabs that last and final hit. And Rattlesnake now going to be down 0-2. It might even be 0-3. Owie 2000 going to be in big trouble. Down he goes. Havos going to be able to use that Mana Void, and that'll finish him off. So now Navi going to take a 3-for-0 exchange, and they will pressure that tier 2 tower in the mid lane.
Yeah, with 2 lanes pushed up this far, there's no buyback on the Luna. She's short 20 gold for that buyback. Oh. The Troll has the buyback, so he can't come if he needs to, but the Spirit Breaker is also unable. So they might get this tier 3 tower, and they might even get a Rax off of this, because you can't 3v5 into this Navi lineup, not with how farmed this Anti-Mage is. It's going to destroy you.
Exactly. A nice replica wall going to come out. The Sheep Stick as well. They're going to try to do some damage to this Anti-Mage. He's going to hop out of the Sheep before Sing Sing can do too much damage with the Troll. Looks like they will keep the tier 3 tower alive. It is going to take about half health, so a nice repel from Rattlesnake, though still a sad precedent to set. Now Navi going to pull ahead for the first time in this game on both gold and experience. And although they do hold, absolutely things looking rough for Rattlesnake. And again, coming down to that initiation power, which team gets the jump on here? We thought they were going to be able to grab an easy kill on Dendi, and it seemed that Rattlesnake just overcommitted a little bit to try and finish him off, and Dendi was able to survive in the end as support came his way. And that's really what set that fight off to be so bad for Rattlesnake, is that they just couldn't finish off the Viper. And I think a lot of that is thanks to the Ghost Scepter that he did pick up. So a smart choice. Also the Heaven's Halberd, we didn't mention that on Viper. He got that Augs very early on, but he does have a Halberd now, and of course further helping his survivability, both Ghost Scepter and Halberd. Dendi's ready to survive. He's ready to get in the face of someone and make it impossible for them to take him down. So I like that kind of defensive build on the Viper, and I guess you could call it defensive, but Dendi now going to be level 16 as well, so that level 3 ulti going to be that much more effective now with the Scepter.
I actually really prefer defensive builds on Viper, because he's a hero who a lot of his power, generally if you have to go like hard carry Viper, he won't stand up to a lot of people. A lot of his strength is in the mid game, And with the fact that a lot of his damage comes from abilities and from sustain, all he really needs to do is stay alive for long enough in a fight, and he'll be just wrecking people. It's kind of like a Venomancer. You know, the longer he's able to stick around, the longer he's able to keep his dot on people, the more unbelievably strong he gets in team fights. So the more you can keep the poison attack going around, the more you can keep hitting people with Nether Toxin because they're down at low health. For Dendi, I mean, with the 12-second cooldown on Viper Strike with that Ags, the more Viper Strikes you can get off in the course of a single fight, obviously the better the Viper's going to be, and you don't need him to hard carry because you have an anti-mage.
Yep, that's a great point as well. With the AM here, Dendi has that luxury of being a little bit more passive with his, not passive, defensive with his item choices. And even the Ogs is, I mean, a great item, but it gives him that sustainability, the extra bit of health and mana and those attributes. So, I mean, Viper does have 2k HP right now. He's a pretty tanky force on the field, but Viper's not even the scary one right now. That anti-mage, we were scared of him before. He's now got a Butterfly. I think he picked it up after that last successful fight, but that's going to give him a Heart of Tarrasque, Butterfly, Manta Style, and the Battle Fury to go with those power treads, and he's got another 2.1k gold in the bank. So Havos, he's not hurting for farm whatsoever, and he is definitely getting out of control. MKB's not out yet for Rattlesnake, though it looks like Sing Sing is working on it on that Troll Warlord. He does have the Demon Edge as well as the first Javelin in the bank there, and about 400 gold, so he will be working towards an MKB pretty quickly here, a much needed item, but still, that Butterfly is a scary item to see in the inventory of Anti-Mage. Also important to note the levels. Look at that level chart. Anti-Mage is level 25. Next highest in the match is 17, which is the Viper, Luna, and Troll. But whoa, where did all that experience come from? I mean, I knew he was doing well, but I can't believe he's level 25 here at the 39-minute mark.
473 last hits, man. He's just been solo farming around the map.
Jesus.
He's at what, like almost 15 creeps per minute at this point, which is unbelievable. Like 10 creeps per minute by the end of the game. You expect that from an anti-mage. Maybe a little higher, but if he gets to like 15, 20 creeps per minute, you know he's really gone off.
Yeah.
And just now he's just coming over here, farming the Ancients. I don't even know what... I mean, he's obviously want to get himself some travel boots next and then fill out that last slot with something. Maybe just get an Aegis if they can get the next Roshan, which will be up just about now. We do see Rattlesnake starting to position themselves for that.
Yep, and that's definitely going to be huge. You're right, that last slot with an Aegis would be huge. And Navi, I'm sure they're aware of the timing here, but they're just going to move into the mid lane, so they're positioned very nicely. They're going to engage on Pylai Die. Anti-Mage going to come in. Oh no, one of the illusions going to get charged right here, as we do see Bane get taken out before this fight even starts. Now Havos going to get Sheep. He could be in a little bit of trouble here. The replica wall going to come down. Havos going to break the Sheep. He's going to back out, and they're going to try and reset this a little bit. Still Bane, the only one dead. The Mana Boy going to come in. Havos going to do a lot of damage. A lot of members of Rattlesnake in red HP. Oh no, this could be so bad for our dire side. Only Darkseer and Luna left alive. They dive the base. Darkseer falls. Luna able to grab a kill on the Bounty Hunter, but that's going to be it. All 5 members of Kaipi / Team Rattlesnake going to die. The third Roche not even going to be a factor. Navi going to be able to do it. Rattlesnake going to GG out 15-13 after 40 minutes. Rattlesnake actually with more kills than Navi by 2, but it doesn't matter. That anti-mage just got too powerful. So we talked about it in grave detail throughout that match, my friend. And I think all about that mid-game timing that Rattlesnake just kind of failed to hit. They had a great opening. They started off that match so strong. But in the end, they just let that anti-mage get way, way too farmed.
I think at the end of that game, we were going to play a nice little game that we called World's Biggest Mana Void, which basically took 3 heroes from full health to almost none. So Rattlesnake's sitting there like, oh, I thought we were winning this. Oh, damn it.